Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः.
Mataji, you can take your time to welcome because we also want Sukhsagri Mataji on the call. She's returning now.
Okay,
so
sure.
We can take our time.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna
Yes, Mataji, you can start.
Okay. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्तवृंद समस्त वैष्णववृंद की जय. नवाचार्य दास ठाकुर जी की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. Good morning, dear devotees. I welcome you all to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call for this mid-morning session. Thank you all for joining. This is Shivani from Ashram, Virginia. Let us move to our next part of the session. Today's topic is the life of Srimad Ramanujacharya, which will be given by Her Grace, Preethi Vilasini Mataji. May I know who all have joined this morning?
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. So glories to Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharajas, and all the assembled Vaishnavas. This is Kirti Dasundari Dasi. Thank you so much for your services, Mataji, and thank you, Anita Mataji, for the beautiful recitation of Bhagavad Gita.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. Kirti Dasundari Mataji. Thank you for joining and giving a wonderful association. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. All glories to your services. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is me, Krishna Bhajana.
Hare Krishna Neetu Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining on a daily basis. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Shivani Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandarvika, Devi Dasi from College Station, Texas.
Hare Krishna, Vanita Gandharvika Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining and giving a beautiful association this morning. All glories to your services, Mataji. Welcome to the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Anita Ramani.
Hare Krishna, Anita Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining and giving a beautiful association. All glories to your services. Thank you for the beautiful Bhagavad Gita recitation. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Srila Sita Preethi Devi Dasi from Pune.
Hare Krishna, Sita Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you for joining and giving a beautiful association. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna. All glories to your services.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I'm Sri Leela Vishnupriya Devi Dasi from New Jersey. Thank you, Mataji, for having me in this call. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Sri Leela Vishnu Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining. Are you joining for the first time, Mataji?
No, Mataji, morning sessions, Bhagavatam sessions I join nowadays.
Beautiful. Thank you for giving a beautiful association. Welcome to the call. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Jai Shri Prabhupada. This is Preethi Vilasini Devi Dasi from Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you, Anita Mataji, for that very beautiful recitation, and thank you, Shivani Mataji, for your warm welcoming.
Hare Krishna, Preethi Vilasini Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you for joining and giving a beautiful association. Waiting eagerly to hear from you, Mataji. Welcome to the call. All glories to your services. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, my name is Vandana. I'm from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna, Vandana Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Once again, I welcome you all for this mid-morning session. I would like to start by sharing a quote by Srila Prabhupada ji. Spiritual anxiety means you are advancing in spiritual life, and material anxiety means you are going downhill. Maya is so strong that as soon as I am sitting in a solitary place, then I'll think of money and women. Therefore, we should live always in the assembly of devotees and chant Hare Krishna and save ourselves from the danger of material fall down. Hawaii, February 7th, 1975. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Today we are very fortunate to have Her Grace Preethi Vilasini Mataji. Mataji will be enlightening us on the life of Srimad Ramanujacharya. Hare Krishna, Preethi Vilasini Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you for giving me valuable time and association this morning. Waiting eagerly to hear from you, Mataji. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Please take over, Mataji, whenever you're ready. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you all so much for joining us today. I know Fridays are dedicated for the series on Tirupavai, also called as the Sacred Vow of Margashish by His Grace Haridas Varya Prabhu. And since His Grace Haridas Varya Prabhu is traveling and he's unable to make it today, I will be covering on the topic of Sripad Ramanujacharya. The question is why the topic of Sripad Ramanujacharya. The reason is because it is his disappearance day today. And Her Grace Kirtida Sundari Mataji requested if we could speak on Sripad Ramanujacharya today. That way, we are not giving a break to the series that was started by His Grace Haridas Varya Prabhu. So this will be connected to the series that he's doing already, but at the same time, I will not probe into his topic, meaning I will not cover what he has been scheduled to cover, but at the same time, we'll find some connections and we'll take on this class today. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं कृष्णचैतन्यमीश्वरम् नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधारा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे. My humble obeisances to all the Vaishnavas on the call. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Please bless me so that I may be able to speak something useful today, and that is in line with what I have heard from the Guru Parampara and our Acharyas. I'll also offer prayers to Sripad Ramanujacharya, seeking his blessings so that I'm able to do some justice today. लक्ष्मीनाथ समारंभं यामन मध्यमाम् अस्मत् आचार्य पर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरु परम्पराम् यो नित्य अच्युत पदाम्बुज युग्म रुक्म व्यामोहतस्ततः इतराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मत् गुरोर् भगवतोस्य दयेक सिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपत्ति. We have Her Grace Sukasagari Mataji on the call. So what we will do now is we will connect one pasuram or a verse from the Tirupavai, which Haridasvarya Prabhu has diligently been doing for the past few, actually for the past few months. And this is the verse number 18. He has not yet covered this. I believe he has covered till verse 8. And he has not yet covered verse 18. But today we will have Suksagri Mataji sing this verse for us. And she will also sing one more verse, which is from Nachiyar Tirumuri. So Andal Devi or Goda Devi, she not only composed the Tirupavai, she also composed what is called as Nachiyar Tirumuri. So she has two works, which is very, very famous and which has been studied by great stalwart devotees. So from Tirupavai, she will sing one verse and we will try to understand the meaning superficially because I'm going to give the in-depth analysis to Haridasvarya Prabhu because he's the expert and he's been doing it. And he will eventually do it for us when we come to verse number 18. But this will just be an overview and we will connect this verse to the life of Sripad Ramanujacharya. And similarly, we have picked one more verse from this other work of Andal, which is called as Nachiyar Tirumuri. And she will sing that verse for us, and we will understand the meaning, and we will connect this verse also to the life of Sripad Ramanujacharya. We'll understand how Ramanujacharya was related to Andal or Goda Devi, and then we'll move ahead with the presentation, the life of Sripad Ramanujacharya. It's actually interesting that I have been doing the same presentation. I have not changed it much except for the first slide. That is the connection of these two verses to his life. Back in 2017, I spoke the same thing. Again in 2021, I spoke the same thing. And exactly in 4 years break, I'm speaking it again. It's going to be the same presentation. But hopefully every time we hear Harikatha or the Katha of Bhagavatas, of great Vaishnavas, we learn something new every time we hear, though it may be the same thing, right? So hopefully today also we will have some take-home messages and we'll be able to implement it in our lives. So Sukhsagri Mataji, if you're ready, you can start, Mataji. Hare Krishna, you can start.
Thank you, Preethi, for the opportunity. I'm also going through a bad phase of allergies, so if I sound squeaky like a mouse, please forgive me. But I'll try to, glorify the verse. 1 second, let me catch Shruti. உண்டு மத்த களேற்றன் ஓடாத தோல்வலியன் நந்த கோபாலன் மருமகளே பின்னாய் கந்தம் கமழும் குழலி கடை திறவாய் வந்தெங்கும் கோழி அழைத்தனகாள் மாதவி பந்தல் மேல் பல்கால் உயிலினங்கள் கூவினகாள் பந்தார் விரலி உன் மைத்துனன் பேர் பாட செந்தாமரை கையால் சீரார் வளை ஓலேப்ப வந்து திறவாய் மயந்தேலுர் எம்பாவாய்.
Haribol. That was from the Tirupavai. Mataji, would you also sing from Nachar Tirumuri?
Okay, now I'll think. நாரணரும் போழில் மாலிரும் சோலை நம்பிக்கு நானூறு தடாவில் வெண்ணெய் வாய் நேந்து பராவி வைத்தேன் 100 தடா நிறைந்த அக்காரவடிசில் சொன்னேன் ஏறு திருவுடையான் இன்று வந்து இவை கொள்ளும் கொள்ளோ. Sorry if it sounded bad. This I just learned yesterday. Well, thank you, Preethi, for the opportunity.
It was so beautiful. Thank you so much, Mataji. And actually, Mataji composed the tune herself. So we can imagine the kind of...
No, this one I learned from somewhere, sorry.
Okay, I think one of them, I don't know, I thought one of them you composed it yourself. But thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you so much. It was very, very melodious. Yeah.
Somehow, if I can serve all the acharyas and you all devotees, it's my fortune. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, in
Jai
spite
Shri
of your
Raman.
trouble. Hare Krishna. So the first song that Mataji sang was from Tirupavai, and the meaning of that song was that Andal, you all know that Haridaswarya Prabhu has been talking about this scene where Andal takes a few girls and then he goes door to door. I mean, she goes door to door. She knocks on the door of different girls and she asks them to join her. Right? So Andal is thinking that she is in the Vrajadham and she is a gopi and she becomes a gopi actually and she goes and calls out to other gopis and they all go further singing the glories of the Lord. So that's what is happening in what Haridaswarya Prabhu is covering. So they have woken up a few girls already. So this is apparently, I believe, one of the last girls they wake up and her name is Nappinai. Now, who's this Nappina? She's a big heroine, okay? She's none other than Neela Devi. So the Supreme Lord has 3 consorts, Sri Devi, Bhu Devi, and Neela Devi. So this is Neela. She's also known as Neela in the works of our acharyas. In the Gaudiya Vaishnava literature also, she's called as Neela. And in Dwarka Leela, she becomes Nagnajita. Nagnajita is the daughter of King Nagnajit, one of the wives of Krishna in Dwarka Leela. So, Andal now, she goes to the house of Nappinai and she knocks on the door. Okay, so she knocks on the door and she calls out to Nappinai and calls her the daughter-in-law of Nandagopa. Now, Nandagop is actually the father of Krishna. The mother of Krishna is Yashoda, right? So it is mentioned that in the works of the Sri Vaishnava Acharyas that Yashoda had a brother by the name Kumbha. And Kumbha's daughter was Nappinai or Neela. Okay, so this girl was already wedded with Krishna, meaning they were already the parents had decided that they would be in a wedlock. So she goes and calls her daughter-in-law of Nanda Gopa. The Lord who's as powerful as elephants, who has broad shoulders, we have to go and glorify him. So she goes and calls out this girl, and she tells that girl, please come out, O daughter-in-law of Nanda Gopa. You have fragrant tresses. That means you have very fragrant hair. And there are birds chirping outside, and they are all sitting on the lines of creepers, because it is time for the world to wake up, because the sun has risen and everybody should wake up. The birds are chirping. They are sitting on beautiful creepers and they are chirping out. So haven't you heard this? Please wake up. You have beautiful hands that are like red lotuses, and your hands are adorned with bangles and they are jingling. So joyfully come and open the door and make us all happy, and you join us. So this is the description that Andal is giving for Nappinai or Neela to come, open the door, and then join them. Sripad Ramanujacharya is also one of the names of Sripad Ramanujacharya is Tiruppavai Jiyar. Jiyar means Maharaj, okay? Basically, a sannyasi who's the head pontiff of a matha is called as a Jiyar. So, one of the names of Sripad Ramanujacharya was Tiruppavai Jiyar. Why was he called Tiruppavai Jiyar? Because he loved murmuring, chanting the Tiruppavai verses. That is something he would do constantly. And he was constantly meditating all his life on the verses that were composed in the Tiruppavai. So he's called as Tiruppavai Jiyar. Now, this Jiyar, Tiruppavai Jiyar, one day it so happened that he was murmuring this particular verse that Mataji just sang, and we saw the meaning. The meaning is Andal is going to the house of one of the gopis and she's asking her to come out. She's describing the beauty of the gopi, saying that you have fragrant locks of hair. Your hair is very fragrant. You have beautiful lotus-like palms. So, and you also have nice bangles that are tinkling. So come and open the door. So this is the description of that girl. So now at this point in time, Sripad Ramanujacharya was murmuring this verse in his mind. He was murmuring, and at the same time, he had a question in his heart. So he wanted to go and seek some answers from his spiritual master, who's called as Mahapurna. So he goes to Mahapurna's house. And at that time, Mahapurna had a young daughter who was about 5 years old, the same age as Andal and Neela. And her name was Atturai. Okay, that was her name. So Mahapurna had a daughter by the name Atturai. Sripad Ramanujacharya had a doubt in his mind. He wanted to go and ask Mahapurna answer to his doubt. So he walked towards Mahapurna's house while murmuring this particular verse from the Tiruppavai in his mind, and he went to the door and he knocked on the door. Just like how Andal goes and knocks on the door of Neela Devi or Nappinai. And then what happened? While he was murmuring this verse and he was knocking on the door of Mahapurna, Mahapurna's little girl, Atturai, who was just 5 years old, came running to open the door. How did she come running? She had fragrant locks of hair. Her hands were like lotus petals. And she had bangles that were adorning her hand that were making a tinkling noise. So she came like that. Ramanuja was telling in his mind, oh girl with beautiful locks of hair that is very fragrant. And he could start smelling beautiful, fragrant locks of hair. And then he said, oh, you have nice lotus petal-like hands that is adorned with bangles, that is making a tinkling noise. And he could hear the tinkling noise. Come, open the door, he said. And our Atturai opened the door. The minute he saw Atturai opening the door like that, he thought, oh, is this really Nappinai? Is this really Neela Devi? And he fainted. So he fainted in ecstasy. And this little girl, Athurai, she was shocked to see a sannyasi come knock her door and faint in ecstasy. And she went running to her father to tell her father, Oh, father, something happened. The sannyasi, he came, he knocked on the door and he fainted. I didn't do anything to him, but he just fainted. She goes and she tells her father. And her father, who's Mahapurna, who's a great devotee, who's in fact the teacher of Sripad Ramanujacharya, understood what could have happened because he knew very well that Ramanuja was always absorbed in chanting the Tirupavai. And when you went and opened the door, he must have thought Nappinai really came in front of him and he fainted. There's a very, very beautiful pastime related to this particular pasuram of Tirupavai. There is also another composition I mentioned, which is called as Nachiyar Tirumuri. And this was very beautifully chanted by Her Grace Sukasagari Mataji, very, very melodious. And in that pasuram, actually, or in that verse, Andal Devi, she's telling the Lord by the name Sundara Raja. This temple is called as Kallalagar temple in Madurai. Madurai, also called as Southern Mathura, is a place where the river Tamraparani flows. Okay, it's called Vaigai. Prabhupada writes about this. It's also the place where, yeah, I think it is also the place where Vaigai is the river where the Matsya Avatar happens, according to Srimad Bhagavatam, if you read. So basically, there, Andal had taken birth in a place called as Sriviliputtur. Sriviliputtur and the Sundara Raja temple is not very far away from each other. Kallalagar temple or Sundara Raja temple is not very far away from Sriviliputtur, where Andal made her appearance. So Andal would go and take darshan of Sundara Raja. This temple is also called as Tirumali in Jolai, or it is called as Kallalagar. And there is a very big festival that happens where Kallalagar, he comes, that is the Lord, he comes on the streets and he comes to meet his sister who's Meenakshi, who's Parvati Devi. There's a temple for Meenakshi there, which is highly celebrated. And they both meet and Sundara Raja or Kallalagar, he performs the wedding of Meenakshi Devi and Lord Shiva. Okay, it's a very beautiful ritual that happens. It's a very famous ritual in south of India. So anyway, she goes to this temple, Sundara Raja temple in Tirumali in Jolai, and she prays to the Lord. What does she pray in this verse? She tells the Lord, "Oh Lord, if I get united with the Lord of my heart, if I get married to Lord Ranganath, I promise you that I will offer 100 thadas. Thadas means huge pots of food, okay? 100 thadas of Akkara Adisal. Akkara Adisal means basically it's very similar to what you all know as Chakra Pongal, which is sweet rice sweetened with good or jaggery, but it is not really Chakra Pongal. It is something different. So it is close to Chakra Pongal, but then it is cooked in milk and it has a consistency that is not fully solid. It has a flowing consistency. So she says, I will cook 100 pots, huge drums of akkar adisal and 100 pots of butter, and I will offer this to you. Okay, so this is the promise she made to this Lord. But then eventually, if you read the life of Andal, it so happens that Andal's father, who's Periya Alvar, he takes her to the Ranganath temple and there she enters the deity. Because she's non-different from Bhudevi, she's the consort of the Lord actually, and she enters the deity and she finishes her pastimes. When her father takes her to get married to Ranganath as per her desires, she actually enters the deity. So did she come back and did she fulfill her vow? No. Did she ever offer 100 pots of akkar adisal and 100 pots of butter to Lord Sundara Raja? She never did it. So then one day, our Sripad Ramanujacharya, he was going to this temple, Tirumali in Jolai. He was going there and he was thinking about the glory of this temple. And he thought of his favorite Acharya. His favorite Acharya was Goda Devi or Andal. So he was thinking of Andal's Nachiyar Tirumuri. And he thought, oh, in Nachiyar Tirumuri, Andal promised that she will give 100 thadas of akkar, adisal and butter to the Lord. Did she ever fulfill her promise? Or maybe she didn't fulfill her promise, but I will fulfill her promise. So he ensured that 100 thadas of akkar, adisal and butter was offered to Lord Sundara Raja there, and she fulfilled the promise of Andal or Godadevi. Now, when little girls have desires, who is the one who fulfills their promise? It is either the father or the elder brother, right? Who helps these girls get their desires fulfilled. So since he fulfilled the desire of Andal, he came to be known as Godagraja. Goda is Andal and Agraja means elder brother. Or he's also called as Anna. Anna means elder brother. So Andal called out, "Oh, Anna, you fulfilled my desire." So he came to be known as Godagraja from that day. And he was also called as Tiruppavai Chiyar. Okay, these are the two names of Sripad Ramanujacharya related to the life of Andal and also related to Tiruppavai and Nachiyar Tirumozhi. So making a connection to Haridas Varya Prabhu's classes, because Friday is reserved for that series, we will move into the life of Sripad Ramanujacharya. Now, I told you two names, right? One was Godagraja, which was given by the Srivilliputturu Vaishnavas, and of course the Tirumalayenjolai Sri Vaishnavas. Both of them, they gave this name Godagraja. And we also saw the name Tiruppavai Jiya. Okay, so these two names, Tiruppavai Jiya was given to him in Srirangam, actually, because he swooned on seeing Atturai, who is the daughter of Mahapurna, mistaking her to be Nappinai. So these two names are there for Sripad Ramanujacharya. Now Ramanujacharya has many other names. Some of the other names are Ilayalvar, meaning the name that was given to him at the time of birth. It's also a name of Lakshmana in Tamil. So that's the reason he was given that name. He was given the name Ramanuja at the time of sannyas. And who gave his sannyas? It's interesting. It was Lord Varadaraja who gave him sannyas. So he got the name Ramanuja from Lord Varadaraj. Actually, he gets the name Yatiraja Ramanuja. Yati means a sannyasi. Yatiraja means king of the sannyasis. So actually, it is Kanchi Purna who comes and relays the message of Lord Varadaraj to Ramanuja and calls him Yatiraja Ramanuja. So Yati and Kanchipurna had the habit of often calling him Yatiraja from that day. So Yatiraj was a special name given by Tirukachinambi or Kanchipurna. And he's also called as Udayavar. Udayavar means one who has the possession of not only the material world, but also the spiritual world. Okay, this name was given by the Utsav deity of Ranganath, who's also called as Namperumal, when Ramanuja went to Srirangam, and he presents 3 poetries to the Lord. He makes a presentation and he's given the name Udayavar. That means taking shelter of your lotus feet, everyone in this material world can get delivered and they will attain the spiritual world. You are in charge of both the material and the spiritual worlds. You are my messenger. So that's what Lord Ranganath named him as Udayavar. He's called as Lakshmana Muni by one of his teachers by the name Jnanapurna, because that was also the name at the time of his birth. In Sanskrit, Ilayalvar can also mean Lakshmana Muni. So many people would call him Lakshmana Muni. He was also called as Appanakka Shangali Aitha Perumal. That means what happened is there's a very beautiful pastime when Sripad Ramanujacharya, he goes on Digvijay Yatra. When he goes on Digvijay Yatra, at one point he goes to Tirupati. So when he goes to Tirupati, he sees that in the place of Tirupati, instead of worshipping Lord Venkatesha, Balaji, the deity was worshipped as Lord Shiva. There was a lot of confusion among the people. Is this deity Shiva or is it Vishnu? And there was conflicts between the Shaivites and the Vaishnavites. Some people were even indicating it could be Lord Kartikeya. Some others were indicating it could be Devi. So there was so much confusion about this Lord. But then from the Rig Veda and other places, Sripad Ramanujacharya entered into a debate with all the scholars there, and he was trying to prove that this is Vishnu. But the debate was never ending. So at that time, Sripad Ramanujacharya, he came up with an idea. So he said, okay, let's respect everybody's inputs and let's offer different weapons to the Lord. Okay, so we can give the weapons of Lord Shiva, like Shiva's Trishul, Shiva's Dhamaru, and then Shiva's Pinaki. Let's keep all of that. Let's also give the Ayudas of Vishnu, which is Shankh, Chakra, Gada, Padma. Let's offer that. Let's give the Ayudas of Devi. Let's give the Ayudas of Skanda. let's keep all of that in front of the Lord and close the curtain. And let's see what happens. Whoever he is, he will identify himself. If he is Lord Vishnu, he will take the ayudas of Lord Vishnu. If he is Lord Shiva, ayuda means weapon. If he is Lord Shiva, he will take the weapons of Lord Shiva. So let's leave it to him to take the decision, and then they close the curtain. And after they close the curtain, after a few minutes, when they open the curtain, they see that Lord Balaji has taken up the Shankha and Chakra that was offered by Sripad Ramanujacharya. So that from that day, he came to be known as Appanakku. Appanakku means to the Lord, basically, a superior to the Lord. Shangari Alitta Perumal, the one who gave the Shankha and the Chakra to the Supreme Lord. So that was his name. He's also called as Anna. Anna means brother. Many of you know that. As the elder, he's called as the elder brother by Goda Devi herself. Because in the temple, when Goda Devi witnessed, when Andal witnessed that Ramanuja presented 100 pots, she was so happy. She called him, "Oh, brother, thank you so much for fulfilling my promise." And of course, he's called as Tirupavajiya, which we also saw. And he's also called as Bhashyakara. Bhashyakara means one who wrote the Bhashyam. Bhashyam is commentary. On what? Bhashyam on the Vedanta Sutras, which is called as the Sri Bhashya. So you all know in different sampradayas, they write Bhashya on the Vedanta Sutras. Like for example, Shankaracharya wrote the Shariraka Bhashya. And Sripad Ramanujacharya writes the Sri Bhashya. Madhvacharya writes the Madhva Bhashya. So like that, there are different bhashyas. Anyone knows the bhashya of we Gaudiya Vaishnavas? Anyone wants to take a guess? And who
Govinda Bhashya?
Huh?
Govinda Bhashya?
Yes, yes. And who wrote it?
Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur.
No, you're close.
No. He's his disciple. I forget
Yes.
the name.
Baladev. Yes, you're
Baldev
right.
Vidyabhushan, sorry.
Yes, Baldev Vidyabhushan. So he's also called, yeah. So so there are various commentaries by different acharyas. And since Ramanujacharya wrote the Sri Bhashya, he was given the name Bhashyakarar, by whom this title was given to him by Goddess Saraswati herself. And where did she give it? She gave it in the Saraswati Bhandar, right? This Kashmira Bhandar, where the ancient library existed. Even now, it's all ruins now. There's just a little pillar. I can show you a picture later. That's what is remaining. It was all destroyed. So in the Sri Bhandaram library in Kashmir, he was given the name Bhashyakarar by Goddess Saraswati. So these are different titles for Sripad Ramanujacharya. So having gone through all the titles, we have half an hour more. I know, I remember 2021 when I did this, everyone was literally sleeping because it went on for more than 2 hours, this class. It's a compilation of a 5 or 6 part series on Sripad Ramanujacharya. So there is so much to talk about him, and even if I talk for 2.5 hours, I would have covered only 1% of his glories, not even 1% of his glories. So we will just see a few pastimes and fast forward, and I will stop at the exact time in 1 hour. Okay. So before we get into the birth of Sripad Ramanujacharya, we will rewind and we will go to the beginning of Kali Yuga. So there was a great saint who appeared just 42 days after the disappearance of Lord Sri Krishna. When Krishna disappeared, Kali Yuga started, right? 42 days into Kali Yuga, right after the disappearance of Lord Sri Krishna, there was a great saint by the name Nam Alvar. He is actually the originator of the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, meaning the very first originator, if you want to know, it is Nam Alvar. Now, this Nam Alvar, he was abandoned when he was a baby, okay? And because it was very strange. He didn't speak, he didn't eat, he didn't do anything. And he was abandoned in a temple called as Alvar Tirunagari, in the border between Kerala and Tamil Nadu. And he went and he sat inside a neem tree in that temple, basically. So he went and sat inside that neem tree, and he was very tiny. He was not a very well, grown baby. He was like undergrown. What do you say? Like these Niku babies, like that. He was not fully grown, basically. So he was premature baby. And he was sitting there in that thing, but from day one, he was nourished internally. He didn't seek nourishment externally, meaning it was not that he drank his mother's milk where he sought nourishment, but he was nourished from within. He was a great sage at the time of birth. He often had one very, he felt very bad that he took birth 42 days after Krishna's disappearance. That is something that he couldn't remove from his heart. How come I'm so unfortunate that I couldn't see Krishna face to face? That was one thing that kept disturbing him. But he was a great enlightened personality, and he had a disciple by the name Madhura Kavi Alvar. This Nam Alvar, he didn't live for too long. He lived for a less time, maybe few years. He lived 16 years, and I believe, or maybe 32 years. I'm not really clear. I think it was 16, but basically he didn't live for very long. But he gave all the teachings to his disciple by the name Madhura Kavi Alvar. And during the time of departure of this Nam Alvar, Madhura Kavi asked his guru that I want a vigraha of yours. I want a deity form of yours, so that even after you depart, I should be able to worship you. Now, this Nam Alvar, he gave the knowledge of the 4,000 Divya Prabandhams. He gave knowledge of everything, all the 4,000 Divya Prabandhams to Madhura Kavi. Okay. Now, Madhura Kavi, when he requested that he wanted a particular vigraha so that he could do aradhana, this Nam Alvar told him, you go and you start collect the waters from Tamraparani and you start boiling those waters. And as you are boiling those waters, a vigraha will emerge from that. So as per the instructions of his guru, he goes and he collects a lot of water and he starts boiling it. And at the end of boiling that water from the deposits, copper deposits, Tamraparani means the river that is rich in copper, actually. Tamravarna. Tamra means copper color, right? So it is rich in copper. Anyway, so he started boiling this water and a vigraha appeared from the deposits. And he took out that vigraha and he presented it to his guru and he said, I got this vigraha, but unfortunately it doesn't look like you. It looks totally different. This personality has his hands folded in namaskara posture and he has a flag, he has a dhwaja, and he's got a different face that doesn't look like yours at all. Who is this? I asked for your vigraha, but you've given me somebody else. And that is where Nam Alvar mentions, yes, this is not me. But this vigraha is very, very important. This is going to be our Bhavishyadacharya, meaning the Acharya who will come in future. And he'll be the one who systematizedly presents the Sri Vaishnava precepts, and he will be responsible for the Sampradaya to move forward. And that was none other than Sripad Ramanujacharya, who took birth much later after this incident. And to this day, this vigraha is preserved, it is there, it is worshipped. And of course, there are two opinions. Some people say the vigraha is in the same Alvar Tirunagari temple, while some others are of the opinion that this vigraha is in the Tirukoštiyur temple. That is also close by, but it is in Tirukoštiyur temple is the opinion of some others. But I got this picture from Alvar Tirunagari. Okay, so the Bhavishyadacharya Vigraha emerged, and everybody in the Sampradaya, they were eagerly waiting. They were worshipping the deity and they were eagerly waiting when he would appear. So it was a big suspense for everyone. Then one day, our Acharya, this Acharya, Sripad Ramanujacharya, he made his appearance to a couple by the name Keshava Somayaji and Bhudevi or Kantimati in the year 1017 AD. So after several years, this child was born. And how was he born? The parents, they had an intense desire to have a child that would be a great Vaishnava, that would be a great devotee. So they went and they intensely prayed to the Parthasarathi deity in Chennai. So those who are from Chennai, they would have the fortune of taking darshan of Lord Parthasarathi, the charioteer of Partha. Every single day. He's called as Venkata Krishna. Venkata Krishna, that's his name. And he resides in a place called as Tiruvallikeni or Triplicane in Chennai, near the beach. And if you see the deity on the picture here, you can see he has a big mustache. They draw a mustache for this deity. That's how, according to the Agamas, he's been worshipped. The reason why they put a mustache is because not that the Lord Krishna had mustache, but still it is to show the Veera. That is, he was a great warrior. Krishna, of course, didn't pick up weapons and fight, but still he was in the battlefield. He was in the battlefield as a Saradi. So to indicate that, even to this day, there is always a mustache. But then during this Vaikuntha Ekadasi, during this Tirupavai time, right, towards the end of that time, in December end or January beginning, there are a few days where you can take darshan of this deity without the mustache. It's very, very auspicious. People go there, but you can never get in because it's all blocked off everywhere. But at least you can see it in some WhatsApp pictures. Okay, so that's a very beautiful deity of Lord Parthasarathi. He is like, I don't know, 15 feet tall or something. He's huge. He's very, very huge. And you can see him with Satyaki. You can see Rukmini Devi, you can see Pradyumna, Aniruddha, you can see all these deities next to him. So when you enter the temple, you can just take darshan of Parthasarathi because he's so big. But then on the side, on the left and the right, you can see all the other deities right next to him. He gives darshan with his entire family, with his son, grandson, wife, and his dear Satyaki, with everybody. He gives darshan there. And so basically, the father and mother of Sripad Ramanujacharya, they went to the temple of Parthasarathi and they prayed to the Lord that they wanted a child. And very soon, Sripad Ramanujacharya made his advent in 1017 AD. And he was a very nice young boy and he began his schooling born in a Brahmana family. He went to the Gurukul and he began schooling under the Advaitin by the name Yadava Prakasha. Yadava Prakasha was very scholarly. He was very well learned in the Vedas, but then he was a follower of the Advaita philosophy. He was a Shankarite. Okay, so he was following the Advaita philosophy, but still Sripad Ramanujacharya took tutelage under him. But oftentimes, Sripad Ramanujacharya would run into conflicts with his teacher because his teacher would speak from the Advaita point of view and Ramanujacharya just couldn't take it. Especially when the Lord's form was nullified, he just couldn't accept it. And you all know the story. I don't have to elaborate much upon it. But there is this very well-known pastime between Sripad Ramanujacharya and Yadava Prakash. Once Sripad Ramanujacharya was giving a massage to his guru Yadava Prakash, and Yadava Prakash was speaking from the Chandogya Upanishad. He was elaborating the meaning of a verse, Tasya yata kapyasam pundarikam eva akshini. So he was elaborating on this verse, telling that the Supreme Lord's eyes is red like the color of the back of a monkey. And Sripad Ramanujacharya just couldn't take it. Hot tears were flowing from his eyes and it was falling on the shoulders of his guru. And his guru turned back and asked him, what happened? Why are you crying? I'm talking something very philosophical here. I'm explaining to you about the color of the eyes of the Supreme Lord. It is like the posterior of a monkey. It is red like that. And Ramanujacharya burst down crying. He said, what are you even talking? How can you compare the Supreme Lord's eyes to the back of a monkey? And then he gives a very beautiful explanation that it is actually like a lotus that has connection to the stalk, and that stalk is connected to the water. And that lotus is bloomed because of the appearance of Kapi, which is the sun. So that is called as Kapyasam. It is actually a lotus. The Supreme Lord's eyes is like a lotus that has become reddened, and it is not reddened and that redness is not to be compared with the back of a monkey. So like this, they get into a lot of arguments, or 2-3 arguments are mentioned in the historical records. And finally, they entered into a Cold War, meaning that the teacher didn't like the student at all. And so much so that the teacher decided to kill the student. Okay, this is kind of extreme, but that's what happened. So they decided to go on a trip to Kashi, school trip to Kashi. And while going to Kashi, they went to the place called as the Manikarnika River, and there some of the students and the teacher were talking about the plot about killing Ramanuja and telling others that he got lost on the way. And Ramanuja's cousin Govinda hears this. He's also one of the classmates of Ramanuja. And he goes and he writes on the sand beach, "Go home, don't stay here. There is danger." When Ramanuja goes to take his morning bath, and Ramanuja sees that, he understands it's an indication from Govinda, and he starts walking back. He enters the jungles, and there he's lost. He doesn't know how to go. He doesn't know how to go home. And he spots a hunter and his wife. And the hunter and his wife, they come and they join Ramanuja, saying that we're going towards Kanchipuram. And they start walking, and the hunter's wife asks for water. Ramanuja goes. By the time he fetches water and comes back, the hunter and the wife are missing, but miraculously, he has already reached the precincts of Kanchipuram. And who was this hunter and the wife? It was Lord Varadaraj and Perendevi themselves. That is the Lord of Kanchipuram, Varadaraja Swami, and his dear consort, Perendevi Tayar. So they were the ones who came and took Ramanuja and brought him back to Kanchi. Now, interestingly, Ramanuja didn't give up there. He went back to the same teacher. He went back to the same teacher out of etiquette and respect. And he continued, and Yadava Prakash was thinking, it's so difficult to get rid of this boy. So, but anyway, he comes back, and there are many beautiful, interesting incidents that happen even after that. Once, when the boys were working along with their teacher, the teacher was called by the king of Kanchipuram. The king of Kanchipuram comes to Yadava Prakash and tells him that, I want your help. I know you are very learned in the Vedas. I want you to help me because my daughter is possessed by a ghost. By chanting some mantras, can you please relieve her of her condition? And that is when Yadava Prakash goes with all his disciples with great pride, and he starts chanting mantras in front of that girl. That girl was possessed by a Brahma Rakshas. And the more Yadava Prakash chanted, the more the Brahma Rakshas was getting angry. And then the Brahma Rakshas started speaking to Yadava Prakash, telling, stop chanting. Your chanting is all filled with pride, and this chanting is not going to deliver me in any way. I am not going to leave the body of this girl just because you are chanting. What value do you have? Do you even know who you are? In my past birth, I was a great Brahmana. I was performing so many austerities. I was chanting the Vedas. But who were you in your past life? You, after all, was like a chameleon. You were like a lizard in your past birth. It's called as Udumba. That means it's like a large lizard, okay? So you were that in your past birth, and just because you got the mercy of some Vaishnavas, you ate the leftover rice that was fallen on the rocks, the leftover uchishta of Vaishnavas, you took this birth as Yadava Prakash. Otherwise, you have no value. Even in this birth also, you're very proud. You're just chanting mantras thinking you can bring me out. I will not come out. But if that boy Ramanuja, that boy there, that Ilayalvan, if he chants, then I will listen to him. And then all the people there, they go and they request Ramanuja to chant, and he chants and he requests the Brahma Rakshas to leave the girl. And the Brahma Rakshas listens. He says, yes, I was waiting for your darshan. By your mercy, I know I can get delivered. So if you place your lotus feet on the head of this girl and chant the mantra, I will leave the girl because I'm waiting to get the dust of your lotus feet. And Ramanuja, because he was forced by everybody, he was asked, he was requested by everybody, please do this, please relieve this girl. He goes and places his lotus feet on that girl, and the Brahma Rakshas leaves. That is when Ramanuja says, give me a proof that you have left the girl. And the Brahma Rakshas says, I will break the branch on this tree to show you that I have left the girl's body. And as promised, the Brahma Rakshas leaves and the branch breaks and falls off. So like that, Ramanujacharya, he delivers in front of his own teacher, who was filled with pride. He delivers a Brahma Rakshas. Now the glory of Sripad Ramanuja had spread far and wide. Ramanuja had an uncle, his mama, that is his mother's brother, and his name was Sri Shailapurna, Tirumalai Nambi. That was his name, Sri Shailapurna. And Sri Shailapurna was a disciple of Yamunacharya. So you all must have heard that Ramanuja was a disciple of Yamunacharya, but he's not a direct disciple of Yamunacharya, because by the time he went, when Yamunacharya was leaving itself, He didn't get directly initiated by him, but he got the darshan, and he's more like a param guru or a manasika guru. Okay, so this Sri Shaila Purna, he was actually the uncle of Ramanuja and a disciple of Yamunacharya. So the news about Ramanuja and his uniqueness, he's something very special. Everybody could see. This news had gone till Yamunacharya, and Yamunacharya was very, very desirous of seeing this boy. Yamunacharya was also aware that Bhavishyad Acharya is going to come. Okay, because everybody had that Vigraha, they were worshipping that Vigraha. So Ramanuja already knew, it is predicted Bhavishyad Acharya should have taken birth around this time. So hearing all the exploits of Sripad Ramanujacharya from his disciples, Ma Sri Shaila Purna, Yamunacharya became very interested in seeing this boy. So he comes to Kanchipuram, and there he sees that these Gurukul boys, along with Yadav Prakasha, they were doing circumambulation of the temple. Some historians or some historical records, not historical records, the written records say that it was the Varadaraja temple. Others say it was Vaikunta Perumal temple. There is a Vaikunta temple. It's called as Parameshwara Vinnagaram. It's there in Kanchipuram, very close to the Varadaraja temple. Some others are of the opinion that it is the Vaikuntam temple. So anyway, they were making a circumambulation of this temple, and that's when Yamunacharya, he asks Tirumalai Nambi or Sri Shaila Purna, who's the boy? Who's the boy? Show me. And then you see this picture, he's indicating that is the boy. This is Ramanuja. And Yamunacharya, he glances with a lot of mercy towards Ramanujacharya. Yamunacharya glances at him and he meditates on him. So we all have heard this beautiful analogy that a bird takes care of its babies that are there in an egg. The bird lays eggs, right? It takes care of its babies by personal touch, by giving warmth, by sitting on that eggs. It nourishes the eggs. It nourishes its babies. How does a fish nourish its babies? The fish looks at the eggs and nourishes the babies by sight. A bird by touch, a fish by sight. By sight nourishes the babies. How does a turtle nourish its babies? The turtle meditates on the eggs that it has laid in the sand. It being in the sea, the turtle is in the river or in the water, and it is meditating on the eggs that have been laid under the sand bed. Okay, the turtle is so far away, but it's constantly meditating on its babies and it's nourishing its babies. So nourishment comes by three ways. One is by touch, okay? The other is by sight, and the third is by meditation. This is how the Supreme Lord also nourishes all of us. And this is also how the Acharya nourishes us. The Acharya can nourish us by his personal touch. He can embrace us. Many of the Prabhujis, they might have this great fortune of their spiritual master embracing them or touching them, right? That is one way of nourishment. The other way of nourishment is the glance of that Acharya. The glance is extremely purifying. When the glance of the Acharya falls on the devotee is nourished for many, many years to come. And the third way of nourishment is received when the Acharya thinks about you. They think about you. Right? So here, Yamunacharya, he was thinking, what a good child this boy is. I wish he can become a nice Vaishnava. Poor boy, he's stuck in this group of Yadava Prakasha. He was thinking like that. Oh, he's in a group of Mayavadis, poor kid. He was thinking like that. He was meditating on him and praying to the Lord, please give him mercy so that he can come out of this group and he can become a Vaishnava Acharya. And he was glancing very mercifully at him, praying and hoping that he soon becomes a great Vaishnava and he can take the baton of the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya and move forward and propagate the Vaishnavism all over the world. So thinking like that, Yamunacharya graced the boy. But Yamunacharya did not disturb anything there. Yamunacharya did not go and pull him out and say, okay, enough of this, now you come with me. He doesn't do that, but he tells Sri Shaila Purna that very soon he will come and join us. He gives mercy, but he doesn't disturb him at this point in time. But he assures everybody this boy will soon join us. Then time went by and it was time for Yamanacharya to leave this world. And that is when there was a message sent to Ramanuja, and Ramanuja came running through, I think it was Periyanambi or Mahapurna. Somebody had the message that Yamanacharya is leaving and we should all go and see him. So Ramanujacharya, he comes running, and at that time, you all know, and you have heard this multiple times, he had 3 fingers clenched. Okay, he had 3 fingers clenched. And the minute Ramanujacharya came there, one by one, as Ramanujacharya uttered a few words, these fingers opened up. What are those? The first thing when Ramanujacharya sees the face of Yamanacharya, he understands what Yamanacharya wants. So he starts uttering some sentences. He says, "Oh, your desire is a bhashya for Brahma Sutras must be written." Ramanuja spells this out. He says this out. And at that time, one finger opens. Then he says, "I know your desire is that the names of Vyasa and Parashara is to be given for 2 people in the Sampradaya." One more finger opens. And then he says, "A commentary for Thiruvaimuri must be documented and one devotee must be named after Nammalvar." Nammalvar wrote Thiruvaimuri, and it is also a very important part of the Divya Prabandhams. So he says the commentary must be established for Thiruvaimuri, and you want one of the disciples in the Guru Parampara to be named after Nammalvar. He says all this, and the 3 fingers opened up and his face smiled. So, which means that he actually did not die at this point in time, but he was in the verge of death. He was something like a coma-like stage. Okay. So then he smiled and then he leaves his body. So now Ramanuja, after hearing these 3 instructions, he was thinking, oh, these are the desires of Yamanacharya. I was not personally initiated by Yamanacharya, but I have to fulfill these desires. So what do? First and foremost thing, I need a guru. So he immediately thinks, who is a great Vaishnava? And he is reminded of Kanchipurna. Kanchipurna was known to be a very, very exalted Vaishnava, so much so that Lord Varadaraj would have conversations with Kanchipurna. So he goes running to Kanchipurna and he asks him, "Kanchipurna, can you please initiate him?" And Kanchipurna says, "No, I'm sorry. I'm not of a Brahmana Varna. I belong to the lower Varna. I cannot initiate you. You're a nice Brahmin boy. How can I initiate you?" And Ramanuja is very, very sad hearing this. And he says, "No, but is Varna really important?" Kanchipurna says, "No, you have to respect the social orders. I cannot initiate you inappropriately. I will not do it." There are some very beautiful pastimes between I will not get into the pastimes. I know I have 3 more minutes. I will just finish the 6 answers of Varada and I'll stop. There are some excellent pastimes between Kanchipurna and Ramanujacharya. How much love Ramanuja had for Kanchipurna. In fact, Ramanuja wanted to take the remnants of Kanchipurna, but Kanchipurna wouldn't give it. But somehow he wanted to take, and he thought he can cheat him. He can somehow grab the remnants, and he invites him for lunch. But unfortunately, Ramanuja's wife, she throws the banana leaf before Ramanuja can take remnants. So like that, there are some very sweet pastimes just to show how much love Ramanuja had for Kanchipurna. But anyhow, Kanchipurna said, "No, I am of a lower Varna, I'll never do it." So now, at this point in time, Ramanuja was really thinking how he can get initiated. Once he gets initiated, he can start working on the task in hand, right? So he goes and he begs Kanchipurna, "You are not initiating me, but you please ask Varadaraj. I have some questions on my mind and I want to find answers to these questions. So please, can you ask Varadaraj for these answers?" He says, because Kanchipurna would talk to Lord Varadaraj. And Kanchipurna said, "Okay, tomorrow morning, when I go and find Varada, I will ask him to give answers to your questions." Kanchipurna doesn't even ask, "What are your questions?" He says, "Varadaraj knows, right? He will give the answers." So next day, Kanchipurna, he goes and he starts fanning the Lord. And the Lord tells him, "Why are you hesitating? It appears you want to ask me something." And then Kanchipurna says, "No, there is this boy, Ramanuja. He is not yet named Ramanuja at this point, okay? But we'll call him Ramanuja for our class." There is this boy and he has some questions in his mind and he's asking me to ask you to give the answers. So Varadaraj smiles and he says 6 answers. What are the 6 answers? First is Ahameva Param Tattvam. I am the Supreme Lord. Period. He doesn't have to worry too much. Okay. Tell him, yes, it is established that the Supreme Lord is Narayan or Vishnu or Krishna or Rama. I am the Supreme Lord. He doesn't have to be confused about it. Darshanam Bhedamevacha. That means Bhedam means separate, okay, two. Darshanam, what is darshanam? The path. That is it Advaita, Advaita? Okay, like that. That is the question. Is everything one or is the Jiva and the Supreme Lord different? That is the doubt that was, see, he was in the tutelage of Yadava Prakash, but he had so many questions. So then Varadaraj says, Darshanam Bhedamevacha. Jivatma and the Supreme Lord, we are different. Of course, there is oneness also, but in a different way in terms of quality. But the doubt in Ramanuja's mind was, is everything one like the Advaitavad? That was his doubt. Then he says, Upayam Prapatti. Prapatti means to surrender. What is the means of achieving perfection? It is through surrender. Accept me as your only refuge. That is the only way to attain me. Then he says, Antima Smriti Varjanam. Antima Smriti. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about Antima Smriti, 8th chapter. He says, whatever you think of, you will become that, right? So you should be very careful of what you're thinking at the time of death. Now, this is a big problem for devotees. It's a very big problem. What if I'm thinking of gulab jamun at the time of death? Will I become some whatever? Will I become some maida in my next life? Will I become some wheat plant and I'm made maida out of and I become a gulab jamun? I don't know. I'm scared, right? So, but then the Lord says, Antima Smriti Varjanam. Don't worry. If you are a devotee and you have surrendered once to me, if you have surrendered, then, as declared in the Varahacharama Shloka, where the Lord says, if you have just surrendered to me once, don't worry, at the time of death, even if you don't remember me, I will remember you. The Lord gives this promise. So he says the same thing. Don't worry about Antima Smriti. I will take care of you. Just surrender once unto me. During your last moments, even if you don't remember me, I will come and remember you. Okay, or I will send my devotee to ensure that, we both are connected. So this is what the Lord is telling. Then he says, Deha Vasani Mukti Syat, which means you're talking about liberation. Liberation happens at the time of death. Because many people have the question, if I do Prapatti or Sharanagati today, if I go and surrender unto the spiritual master, now the spiritual master will take away all the karma and I'm guaranteed liberation. So will I die immediately and will I get liberated immediately? The answer is no. You wait till the end of this life. At the end of this life, because you've surrendered to a proper acharya, I will ensure that you get liberated. That is what the Lord is telling. Next, Purnacharya Padhashrata. That means go and surrender unto the lotus feet of Purnacharya or Mahapurna, and he will become your Guru. So these are the 6 doubts that were there in Ramanuja's mind. Who is the ultimate supreme absolute truth? The Lord said, it's me. Second, what is all this Advaitam about? Isn't the Supreme Lord different from the Jiva? We are insignificant. He is great. Isn't that right? Yes, Darshanam Vedamevacha, the Lord said. The next doubt he had is, what is the means of attaining you? He said, just surrender unto me. I will take care of you. Then he thinks, okay, at the time of death, what if I don't remember about you? I've surrendered to you, but what if I don't remember you? Then the Lord says, according to the Varahacharama Shlok, don't worry, even if you don't remember me, I will remember you and I will take you because you have surrendered unto me. Then he thinks, okay, now people will come and surrender unto you. Immediately, will they die and get liberated? Answer is no. Dehavasane mukti syat. That means only at the end of death, end of that life, they get liberated. Now, the final question and the most pressing question for Ramanuja is, how do I get initiated? And Varada says, don't worry, go and take Periyanambi or Mahapurna as your Guru. So these are the beautiful pictures of Kanchipuram Varada Swami, Varadaraja Swami. This is the Moola Murti or the main deity in the temple. Here is the Utsav deity, is also called as Devaraja. He's very beautiful, actually. Utsav deity. And here is the Attivarada. Some years back, it was a big thing, right? Thousands of people were going to Kanchipuram to take darshan of Attivarada, the original deity that appeared and kept in the water, and he's brought out once in many years. So finally, he gets the initiation process done from Mahapurna, and we will stop here. And of course, eventually he goes on, he takes sannyas, and he has 5 different gurus who teach him different things. So he has 5 gurus. He's called as Pancha Guru Ashraya. Ramanuja. It was not only Mahapurna who was his guru. There were others also. Like, for example, Goshti Purna taught him the Narayana mantra. Mahapurna gives him the Pancha Samskara, but Goshti Purna specifically gives the meaning of the Ashtakshara mantra. Then he takes shelter of his uncle Sri Shaila Purna and learns the 18 secrets of Ramayana. He learns Tiruvayamuri with Arayar, and that is one of the sons of Ramanujacharya Arayar. Jnana Purna gives him the meanings of Tiruvayamuri and so on. So like the Kanchi Purna was his great inspiration. Like that, he had taken shelter of 5 different gurus, and he spread the movement. He took care of the Srirangam temple. He taught his disciples very, very diligently. And some very beautiful stories of female disciples of Ramanuja is there in this presentation. You must have all heard it back in 2021 when I had presented. Finally, he established the temple in Melukot temple. One of the Tirunarayanapuram is very, very beautiful. This is the temple. It's in Mysore, near Mysore. Very, very beautiful temple. How he uncovers the deity. This hill is called as Yadushaila, meaning this deity was actually worshipped by Krishna, by Krishna and Balaram themselves, the Utsav deity. How he's called as Ramapriya. He actually comes from the Surya Vamsha. He's transferred to the Chandra Vamsha, and then later in the Kali Yuga he's uncovered by Sripad Ramanujacharya. How he's uncovered? Because this deity was in the custody of a Muslim princess. He goes to the Delhi Sultanate and he retrieves the deity Ramapriya from there. It's a very, very beautiful story. How Quresh loses his eyes, and then finally how Quresh is bestowed with divine vision. That's a very beautiful story. And his final instructions. His final instructions is to study. These are some instructions Ramanuja gives. He tells his associates not to weep during the time of his departure. He had initiated over 12,000 grihasthas, 700 sannyasis, and he had named 74 disciples who would carry on the sampradaya. He told everyone to read the Sri Bhashya. He told people to go to Melukote and serve. So like that, he had given some instructions. He said, if nothing is possible, just seek out the association of Vaishnavas and associate with them constantly. If you cannot do many of these things, he said, first try to study the Sri Bhashya. If you cannot, then at least study some teachings and spread this Vaishnavism. If you're unable to do that, reside in a holy place like Melukot and serve there. If you cannot do that, then just wherever you are, just surrender unto a guru and meditate on the Vaishnava mantras. If that is also not possible, just take association of a pure devotee. So these are some instructions he gives, and then he keeps his feet on one of his disciples' lap by the name Andrapurna, who was very dedicated to his guru. There are some beautiful stories how he would carry this Andrapurna or Vadaganambi. He would carry the footwear of his guru and the worshipable deity, his guru's deity, in the same box on his head. And Ramanuja would get so scared. Why are you doing this? You are not supposed to keep my footwear and my worshipable deity in the same box like that. The Lord is to be kept in a nice place, not near my footwear. But then Vadaganambi would say, no, this is my God. Your footwear is my God. Maybe for you, the Shalagram is God. For me, you are God. So like that, you are God in the sense not that he's equating God and Guru. He's trying to say that he worships his Guru so reverently. So he was a very nice devotee. Ramanuja gives up his life by keeping the feet on Vadaganambi and head on Embar. Embar is Govinda, his cousin. And on a Dashamatiti Shukla Paksha Magha month, that is when he leaves and he goes to the spiritual world, which is today. Okay. So that's why we are having this session. So thank you all so much. I wanted to finish on time. I don't want to do the full presentation. You must have heard it many times, but a good meditation for today. Any questions, comments, realizations?
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. Preethi Vilasini Mataji, thank you for a very excellent class, for explaining the verse in such depth. Very, very grateful to you and very beautiful PPT. Thank you, Suksagri Mataji, for singing so beautifully the two verses. Very grateful to both of the Matajis. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, if you have any questions or realizations, please go ahead. Parima Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. It rains nectar when you speak about Ramanujacharya. Even earlier, I have heard your presentations, and it was so wonderful that I don't even feel like moving from where I am. It is so captivating, and thank you again so much for this wonderful class, and it's really very nice. Thank you for your service, Mataji. I don't have any questions. I just wanted to thank you. That's it.
I'm so grateful for your very kind listening. Every time when you speak, I can see how much love and devotion you have and how much dedicated you are in listening to the glories of the Lord and His devotees. So thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you. Danvat pranams to you. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Sumi Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranams. Oh, what more can I say? I don't know. I'm just falling at your feet right now. And yeah, it's so nice. You've chosen this topic on this day. And Mataji, as you said, we must have heard some of these pastimes here and there, especially if we are Sri Vaishnavas, we've heard it. But I, for one, Mataji, so much we forget. And so I'm so grateful that I got to hear all this from you, because I did remember some things. I did learn so many things new. Certain things we just keep hearing, and we just take it for granted. No, we don't go in and question why or something. So with all the whys and wherefores, you explained it so beautifully. Thank you so much, Mataji. It is always so great to hear about our Bhavishya-acharya, Jagadacharya Guru. Thank you so much, Mataji. And I just wanted to say one thing, Mataji. It's just that someone posted in the comments, the Madhurakavi came and asked Nammalvar, எத்தை தின்று எங்கே கிடக்கும், means when the sentient jiva enters the insentient body. So he considers that body as a dead thing. In Tamil, he says, செத்ததின் வயிற்றில் சிறியது பிறந்தா. The body is like a dead thing. So when the sentient comes, where will it stay and how will it nourish? So for that, Nammalvar gives a beautiful explanation just in 4 words. And immediately, Madhurakavi falls at his feet and says, "This is my Guru, I found him." So, thank you.
So nice. Attai tinna ange kidakkum.
Attai tinra ange kidakkum. Yes. It will stay in the body as long, and once it stays in the body, it will nourish itself only with the joys and sorrows and desires of the body. So like how we say, in all this ISKCON Gita classes, we say that though the soul is spiritual, and I think Prabhupada also gives 3 things, right? One is the smoke-covered mirror, and 3 examples he gives in one of the Bhagavad Gita purports. So like that, the soul is covered because of its association with the material body. That is the thing he gives. And that is the thing I just wanted to say. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji, for those beautiful inputs. Thank you.
Preethi Sundari Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Wonderful session. For you, it must be a repetition, but for Kali Yuga reject Jiva like myself, every time it's always so new. I always feel like I should hear more and more about this Sri Sampradaya, and of course this Southern culture, which I'm so much fascinated to. I don't know why. But thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
We don't consider you Punjabi. We consider you South Indian only all the time.
Oh, no, I don't live in S of South India. But yeah, thank you, Mataji. Well, I'm happy. Vrindavan, I'm happy with Vrindavan.
Of course, yes. We are all happy with Vrindavan, all of us, yes.
Yeah, but somehow so much fascinated with this culture. Thank you. For me, it's every time it's new. Every time, no matter how many times you just say it's a repetition, but it's new for me. So really
I
great.
was remembering how last time when this was going on, it went on for 2 hours, and you went on like, no, no, don't stop. It's okay. You continue, and you were doing DT worship.
Yeah, I was doing deity worship and nobody was there in the temple. And I put the phone on the speaker and I was doing no Rajbhog Arati. It was so wonderful.
Thank you.
Mataji,
Thank,
thank you so much. Hare Krishna, really grateful to you.
thank you. Hare Krishna.
Kripa Mahishita Mataji, please go ahead.
Krishna Mataji, thank you Mataji, wonderful session. It was near our town because Alvar Tirunagari and all the Tirukotiyur and then all Srirangam and then or other Nammalvar, that place Mataji, Nammalvar place, no?
Alvar Tirunagari Mataji,
Alvar.
Tiruppurugur.
And all I visited those temples by God's grace. By Krishna's grace, I was able to visit all the temples. Mataji, it was very nice. And thank
Have
you
you
for the
seen that
excellent.
Puliyamaram, that tamarind tree?
Yes, Mataji. Puliyamaram.
Yes,
I went there.
Mataji. We've been
Yes,
fortunate to
Mataji.
see, have darshan of that.
Very, very fortunate. It was very difficult to get there, Mataji. Steep steps and all was there, no? It was very nice. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. And today, all refreshing, all Mataji, what all you said. And one point you said, 42 days after Krishna's gone away from this planet, he was born. Today, that is a new point for me. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Wonderful session. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Krishna, see, Mataji, how come you're so dressed at 11 o'clock in the night? That's really...
Evening,
She's
I
a
dressed
doctor. She has
Mataji.
patients 24/7.
My God, Mataji, you're so nicely dressed 11 o'clock in the night.
Honestly, when I was looking at Mataji, sorry, honestly, yes.
Looking fresh morning, 7 o'clock. Very nice,
Thank you.
India Iron
Thank
Wala
you.
comes, Kirtida.
Thank
What,
you,
Mataji?
India Iron Wala comes home and gets the sari.
We-
You were very true. I missed that.
Thank you, Mataji.
Mataji, just one clarification. I heard that Ramanujacharya, Sripad Ramanujacharya and Andal, they were contemporaries.
No, they are not temporaries, contemporaries.
Then
They are
how
not.
come she said that you are my Anna?
DT, no.
Oh,
DT. Yeah, DT reciprocation.
so who was the DT? Andal or Ramanujacharya? Andal.
Andal.
Oh, okay. All right, Mataji.
They
I
are
was
not
kind of
contemporaries.
confused. Yeah, I was kind of
Yeah, I
confused.
know it sounded confusing, but yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Mataji, for a wonderful class. Danvat Pranam. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Mataji. Sumi Mataji is also telling about Madrakavi's how he went and how he found Nammalwar. He went to Mathura, and there he sees a light, and then he comes towards the tamarind tree. Yeah.
No, Mataji, you said no, 42 days after Kali, just after Krishna left for the spiritual world. So actually he had gone to have darshan and he couldn't because he came back. So that reminded me.
Vasundhara Mataji, please go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavad pranams to you. Wow, so beautiful. I didn't feel like, you shouldn't have stopped. Continue. And probably, yes, I come from South India, so I was releasing more. Secondly, I've been to all the Deva Deshams, at least 100 plus Deva Deshams already been. And it was like, though I've taken up to KC and Gaudiya Sampradaya, but still always that proclivity is there to that South connect. And it's really nice to hear about the Acharyas of the South. And of course, Sri Ramanujacharya, I don't know much about him, but today, by your grace, I got to know so many things, Mataji. A couple of things I just wanted to ask you, Mataji. Please excuse my questions. If you feel it weird, you might drop not to answer. How to understand that, the hostile nature of a guru towards a shishya, a disciple, right? Because Yadava Prakash is supposed to be a very learned scholar, right? And he has the gyan of all the Vedic literatures, right? At that state of mind, how to understand a spiritual master's hostile, what do you call, hostility towards his own, what do you call, disciple, Mataji? And
Yeah,
very difficult is that.
One may be a great scholar, one may have taken up to a spiritual path. But if the heart is not transformed, then one has not taken the principles or the essence of those teachings to one's heart, right? So a lot of us, we practice externally, meaning we are just doing a lot of our spiritual practices also like a ritual only. How much have we let it transform our hearts? How much are we taking it inside? How much are we applying it in our own lives?
But going to an extent of plotting the murder, oh my God. I'm
Yeah,
unable
because
to internalize,
at
Mataji.
at the end of the day, what is most intoxicating? Is it some beer or whiskey or wine? No, it is power. Power is
Yeah.
the most intoxicating. If you
Name,
become
fame.
power of becoming a leader, power of having 100 people under you, power of running a temple, power of being the leader of a sangha. This is the most intoxicating thing. And this can take you to any extent because this is the biggest gratification of your false ego, right? So I will go to any extent to gratify my false ego. The nature of this world. Yeah. You see, politics, mundane politics also, it stems from the same principle. Power is intoxicating. I'll do anything to hold on to my power. This comes.
The general material minds and material affairs we can definitely understand, but getting into the spiritual domain, especially at this kind, I mean, at these level of, spiritual masters, somehow it doesn't infuse a good feel, right? I mean, it's
Correct.
very, very poisonous, right? I mean,
Yeah, even
unable to
Laltangi
take
Mataji.
it.
Yeah, Laltangi
Unable to
Mataji is
take it.
telling personalism versus impersonalism, she says. So when the philosophy of personalism, the philosophy itself is where you are considering yourself to be insignificant and you're surrendering unto a superior who is the supreme lord and the spiritual master. In impersonalism, I'm God.
Right.
Very nicely, Mataji has written.
Mataji, second thing I had was like, multiple Guru Devs of Ramanujacharya, 5 Gurus. So we need to understand the Shiksha Gurus and the Diksha Guru, right? From that perspective. Isn't it, Mataji?
Yeah, and there's a very beautiful pastime about those 5 gurus. Many people ask Ramanuja, how is it that you have 5 gurus? This is so strange. You call yourself an Acharya, Yatiraj, and you have 5 gurus? How can one have 5 gurus? And he says, oh, you want an answer to that question? Just go to the house of Ponnachiyar. Ponnachiyar was the wife of Dhanurdasa. Dhanurdasa was actually a wrestler who became a disciple of Sripad Ramanuja. You must have heard the story of how this wrestler was so attracted to the eyes of his wife
Yeah,
that he
he's
was
beautiful,
holding an
right?
umbrella. Yeah.
Yeah.
Her name is Ponnachiyar, that girl, that lady. She was the female disciples of Ramanuja are very advanced devotees, very intelligent devotees. So Ramanujacharya says, go to Ponnachiyar, she will explain. And they're all thinking, what a sannyasi, such a big person. You're not able to give the answer. What will that lady give an answer? But then they go to Ponnachiyar's house and then they go and ask, oh, what do you think of this Ramanuja? He has 5 gurus. Then she just, her hair was open. She was combing her hair. She pulls her hair and she parts it into 3. She makes a plate. She takes out a ribbon. She ties the ribbon and she goes. That's all. And then they all go and tell Ramanuja, oh, you sent us to Ponnachiyar. What was Ponnachiyar doing? Ramanuja says. And they say, what did she do? What does she know to do? She's a woman. She had loose hair. She plaited her hair. She took a ribbon and she tied it.
But
Then
there was something
Ramanujacharya,
significant behind it.
yes, Ramanujacharya explains that just like how a ribbon can tie so many strands of hair, similarly, you can have many gurus, but you should know to distill the essence and tie the teachings together. So you can have multiple Siksha gurus. And you should be able to understand the distilled essence and understand the unity in the teachings of all of them. Like that.
Thank you so much. It was so nice to know that even at those times, Ramanujacharya accepted female disciples too.
Many,
Right?
and each of these women were like exemplary women. You learn something from each of them. It's like that.
One of the sessions you might want to help us through those aspects, Mataji. That would be really nice to know.
What is it?
I mean, I would appreciate if we can take a session on those particular aspects
Only
of the
those
disciples
women
and the Ramanujacharya's relation with the disciples and especially the women folks, right? It would be so nice because nowadays, even in ISKCON, I mean, when it comes to like us and the Prabhujis, the interactions is not, the exchange is not to that extent, right? When it comes to only on sessions, it can happen. But in terms of, looking at the close connects, exchanges, deliberating around the Vaishnavism, the Siddhanta, right? It doesn't happen that way openly, at least, right? I mean, always that kind of reservations are there. I don't know, I felt it. Maybe it's not with others, at least in my case, I just felt it. So,
Bhakti Sangha is very women oriented.
yeah. So maybe we should, I mean, you should help us, take us through that aspect of Ramanujacharya's exchanges with the women disciples. Of course, we hear from Srila Prabhupada, but at least in those times, right? So that would be really nice to know,
Thousands of
Mataji.
years ago. Yeah.
Yes,
Even Srila
11th and
Prabhupada
12th
also.
centuries. So, yeah, Srila Prabhupada was more of what do you call interactions with the Westerners, wherein he doesn't get into these kind of, reservations and all that stuff, right? But here in India, being here, and in case of Ramanujacharya, it is South India, right? Very, very kind of in 11th and 12th centuries, very difficult to even understand, perceive that, it happened like this, right? So at least I have not heard of in any other cases, in any other spiritual masters, other than Ramanujacharya.
Somehow when you're talking, I just feel like saying these two quick past tense. I won't take much time. But
Please,
very
Mataji.
sweet. So there are many women pastimes, but these two especially is standing out to my mind. One is when Ramanujacharya, when he was going on Digvijaya Yatra, he went to this place called as Tirukkoilur. Tirukkolur, not Koilur, Tirukkolur. Okay. There he sees one girl running out of Tirukkolur. Maybe it's the same, Tirukkoilur and Tirukkolur. He enters there and he sees a little girl running away. And he's shocked. He's telling her, yeah, Pen Pillai, yes. So he's shocked and he's asking her, why are you going away from this place? Even if we have one piece of cloth and one grain of food to eat, people will want to stay in such a holy place. Why are you walking out of this place? And then that's when this girl, she gives the, I think, 18 instances of great Vaishnavas who have shown very sincere devotion, very high surrender to the Lord, and who have revered the Lord in various ways, and who had very good bhakti. And like for example, Vedura, Draupadi, that girl goes on giving instances, Prahalad, Gajendra, so on. And she says that, have I worshipped the Lord like them? So I think there are 81 such, 81 such people. And as Sumi Mataji writes, it's called as Tirukkolur Penpillai Rahasyam. So that girls, and then Ramanujacharya, after listening to her full discourse about how these 81 different Vaishnavas have served, and I'm nobody, I'm not served like them. Why should I stay in this holy place? I'm not worth it. And she wants to walk away. Ramanujacharya is so pleased with her. In one of the historical records, they say Ramanujacharya requested that girl to cook for him, and he wanted to take prasad from her cooking because he wanted to absorb her consciousness. That comes to my mind, yeah. Another thing is this very well-known story of two disciples of Ramanuja, Varadachari and Yagnesha. These two disciples, Yagnesha was very rich, Varadachari was very poor. His wife was also very poor, so much poor that she didn't have enough cloth to cover herself. So to make that long story very short, it's a very long story, but to make it very short, when Ramanuja knocks on the door for him to enter the house, At the time, she's not able to open the door because she doesn't have proper covering of her body. Okay. And you know what Ramanujacharya does? This is unbelievable. No sannyasi will do it. He
Okay.
takes his upper
Yes.
cloth and gives it to her to cover her body.
Hari bol. Okay.
Which sannyasi will do that?
Oh my God.
Yeah. There's so many stories like that. And then, of course, there is this this lady in once he goes up north, meaning north means what, Karnataka. But when he's traveling, there is this lady who worships his lotus feet, his sandals. What's her name? Does anyone knows the name? I forgot the name. After Kongil Pirati, yeah, Kongil Pirati. It's very nice because when she comes to Srirangam, there's one lady who was a newcomer to Srirangam and she came from north. North means Karnataka. Okay? So she came from there because of some drought in that place. She comes to Srirangam and there she sees that Ramanuja is a sannyasi. He doesn't have anything. He just has one kashaya dress and he has a begging bowl. He takes bhikshu, right? So nothing he has, but people are falling at his feet. People are ready to give everything to Ramanuja. What's so special about him? So she goes and asks him, what's so special about you? People are ready to surrender their lives to you. What magic do you have? And then he says, oh, I really don't have anything, but if you think I have something special, I'm ready to give it to you. And what is that? He initiates her. He gives her initiation. And he gives the meaning, he initiates, he does Panchasamskara, initiates and gives the meaning of mantras. That is what she has to do, japa. And she forgets it also. When she's ready, when the drought is over in her country, in her state, and she's ready to move after 1 or 2 years, she forgets what her guru taught her. So she goes back to him and she tells, teach me again, I forgot everything. And Ramanuja takes the effort to teach her again. Okay. And then she learns it again. And then she says, look, I have a very forgetful memory. I am not advanced like these great Brahmanas who are chanting mantras, these men who are doing great services. I'm after all a housewife. I don't know anything. I can't even remember all this. So give me something in a way that I will always stay attached to you. And she requests his padukas. She takes his padukas and she goes back to her place. Later, when Ramanujacharya went to Karnataka because of this Kulotunga Chola's destruction and all that, at that time, he stops these tribal people, they take him to a Brahmana's house. And that Brahmana's house is nothing but the same lady. And this lady is still worshipping the footwear of Ramanuja. and and she offers bhoga to that footwear and then she takes remnants every day. And she does the same for the people who have come. And when the devotees ask, we don't take food that is not offered to the Lord. What are you? Because you're a Brahmana, we came to your house. But it appears that you're not offering it to the Lord. The deity is somewhere, you're offering it to something that is long and black. We can't take food like that. And then she says, don't think that I don't have Acharya Sambandha. Don't think only you have. Even I have Acharya Sambandha. My Acharya is Ramanuja, she says. Everyone is shocked. They're like, and then she says that long and black thing is his padukas. I offer it to his padukas. And then everyone is shocked and they think, oh, really? You know the lotus feet of Ramanuja? Come and identify it. They give her a lamp. It's pitch dark in the night. It's raining. With a lamp, she goes from one leg to the other of all assembly of people who have come there to her house. And she specifically identifies Ramanujacharya's feet and she says, yes, these are the feet that I worship every day. Usually, this leg is adorned with saffron dress, but today the cloth is covered with white color dress. She says so much. Because when Ramanujacharya was going, that Kuresha takes away his sannyas cloth and gives him white dress, right? So she says that, and then so many women's stories actually. They're all amazing.
Mataji, so nice to know. And more so where I'm like, I mean, astonishing, those times, 11th, 12th century, the way women were, like, the way they were treated, right? See, that's what I'm trying to understand. And Ramanujacharya is like a typical, Sampradaya, Vaishnava Sampradaya. I mean, at least if you see the recent pontiffs in the Vaishnava Sampradaya, absolutely no entertaining women at all. You go to Divya Deshams, I mean, I've seen how they kind of, when they interact with women or whatever, it's very, very different, Mataji, very different. So those days, that is what really perplexed me, right? And my request to Bhakti Sangha organizers, please arrange one more session by Mataji so that she can take us through all these kathas, and, it could be more encouraging to women folks, right? And last thing, Mataji, sorry, I really like the 6 answers by Varadaraja. Varadaraja Perumal. The one thing that was like kind of really I was able to relate was that, Krishna says, even if my devotees forget or not able to remember me, I will remember them. So that was immediately I was trying to connect to what. So end of the day, essence of the spirit of any of the sampradayas, right? Krishna says the same thing, right? You do worship like this, worship in any form, just that surrenderance, right? Oh my God. Once you are there, that's it. And one more thing, just one, even once in a lifetime, would have surrendered. That's enough. Oh my
That's so
God.
true.
So nice, Mataji. Thank you so much. You made
Yeah.
my day and night. At least I'll be kind of inspired for some time, some days, and chant my rounds properly tomorrow. Thank you so much, Mataji. Grateful to you. Dandavad. Hare Krishna.
Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna,
Mataji.
Mataji. Just one doubt from what you all spoke just now. The name of this devotee, the lady you spoke about last, Konkil Pirati?
Kongil Pirati.
Kongil Pirati and Kongil Achan, right? So I'm just saying this for people who go to Sri Rangam, in case any of you happen to go to Sri Rangam, still that house is there. Kongilachan Maligai, it is called. Okay, so there are some sort of their descendants or some of their relatives from other branches. They're still there. Sri Vaishnavites are there. And it so happened that when we went, they had made the padukas in brass, and they were giving it to the devotees who came. So we were also able to get just a small thing, Mataji, small brass paduka with something.
Wow.
They say it's based like Ramanuja's paduka. So they gave that, and we've kept it in our puja. So anyone going to Sri Rangam can ask. Some person will be able to guide you. It's very close to the temple. Konkila Achan Malige. It is.
Thank you
Hare
so
Krishna.
much, Mataji.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was good information. Thank you. And also this Jagannath deities carved by Mahaprabhu, that temple is also there. Very cute deities. Jagannath Baldev Subhadra carved by Mahaprabhu is there in Sri Rangam. Near our Gopalabhatta Goswami's house, ancestral house, Venkatapatta's ancestral house. We should go there also. Very
Thank
nice.
you.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, such a wonderful treat, Mataji. Like we have been meditating in Lord Sri Ramanujacharya's blessings. Thank you very much, Mataji. Mataji, like one question, maybe I was late, I missed the session. Mataji, why did he leave his Grahastha ashram? Because we know he did everything after he took sannyas. So I usually sometimes have this question. They're doing so much when they take sannyas. So why don't they follow it? They go to Grahastha ashram and then they come to sannyas. So we see it in Mahaprabhu's life also. There we say it is a leela. So what was happening here, Mataji? Like what made him to leave the Grahastha ashram, and why did he actually enter into that? If he was going to serve in like sannyas ashram.
Yeah. So I think everyone knows this also. His life, basically, he took Grahastha ashram happily, like anyone else. Like they get married, they want to have a proper Grahastha life. But he always was a great devotee from his childhood, from his birth. He was a great devotee. His focus was always serving the Lord. That was his main goal. And when he took the Grahastha ashram, he had some conflicts with his wife. The first conflict began with Kanchipurna. When Kanchipurna, the remnants of Kanchipurna, he wanted to honor the remnants of Kanchipurna, but unfortunately, the wife was very caste conscious. So what she did was she threw the leaf and then she cleans up that place. She puts cow dung, she cleans up that place, and she she doesn't, she tells Ramanuja, okay, he's from a lower varna. So I cleaned up that place and I made everything clean. So now I'll give you a fresh leaf. And Ramanujacharya tried to correct her, saying that, no, I wanted to take as remnants. The varna doesn't matter. That was the first story. The second story was, it's again, someone else. There was another person from a lower caste who had come and who wanted some food, and she said there is no food. Was it a lower caste or a Brahmin? I don't know. I think a Brahmin. Somebody came for Bhiksha and she didn't give food, and she said there is no food, and she sent them away. And then there was food at home. So Ramanujacharya didn't like it. He said, why did you do that? You should not do that. You should first serve others. And then the third incident was, this was a major incident because this was to do with his own guru. Ramanuja's guru, Mahapurna's wife, and Ramanujacharya's wife, they had a huge conflict. Actually, Mahapurna had come to Kanchipuram so that he could stay with Ramanujacharya and teach him. So they were actually doing a sacrifice for the sake of Ramanujacharya. But there was a big conflict that broke between Ramanujacharya's wife and Mahapurna's wife. And Mahapurna's wife were really offended. I mean, it was a big offense. So they had to leave that place, meaning they didn't want to continue having any unnecessary arguments and all that. And they actually left that place. So like this, consecutive issues with the wife, not being pleasant with the Vaishnavas, not being pleasant with superiors, and not being very favorable in the sense, very caste conscious wife, not being very favorable to pure devotional service. Devotion was there, but not like the way he envisioned it. So eventually one day he told that what does he say? He says, yeah, I have to go elsewhere. And if you want, you can go and stay in your mother's house for a while. And she goes to her mother's house. And that is when he goes to Varadaraj and he says, from today, I am yours. I don't want anything else in this life. And you give me sannyas. And he presents the kashaya, the cloth, and then the dhanda and everything. And then he, with keeping Varadaraj in front of him, he takes sannyas, and Kanchipurna lights the fire for sannyas. And he returns as a sannyasi once the wife has gone to her mother's house. So this is actually the story that transpired. Yes, this is the story that transpired in his life. And sometimes for a higher cause. And if the wife is, Prabhupada often says this, right? If the wife is not very Krishna conscious, sometimes it is very difficult for us to pursue if either of the spouse is not Krishna conscious. And he was meant to be an acharya. He was meant to be an acharya and take the sampradaya forward, and it was his decision. Similarly, Srila Prabhupada also, we know his life too, right? Wife was not very favorable, and even some manuscripts were sold. Mataji has written it in the chat. Sumi Mataji has written it. The manuscripts of Srila Prabhupada, they were actually sold in exchange for something very small. So it can happen in some households where the wife or the husband may not be very favorable, and it was time for them to move on. So this is what happened. Very similar to Prabhupada's life, Ramanujacharya's life was also. And this method of taking sannyas, if you see, even Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur took sannyas like that. A lot of it is very similar. We do Pancha Samskar, they also do Pancha Samskar. That is, here in Gaudiya Vaishnavas also we have Pancha Samskar. Then the way of taking sannyas, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati took inspiration from Sripad Ramanujacharya and took sannyas. And Prabhupada's life and Sripad Ramanuja's life with respect to family not being cooperative.
Yes, Mataji. So it was not favorable for him. So we don't know whether if it was favorable, like what would have turned out, we don't know. But what he did after sannyas was very miracle, Mataji.
Yeah, it was a big miracle. Very much like Srila Prabhupada. What happened after sannyas, Prabhupada? He created what nobody can create in this universe. So yes, he made hippies into happies. He converted millions and millions of people. Today we are reaping the benefit, all thanks to Srila Prabhupada. Without Prabhupada, where would we be? Right? Yeah. Sometimes they might have to sacrifice a little bit of family to make a bigger family of devotees. Yeah.
Yes, Mataji, so that we all can appreciate how much they've been sacrificing for us.
Mhm.
So what we are right now.
And also one more thing we should always keep in mind is that the chaste women who have served their husbands like this, yes, maybe they were not favorable, but just because they served, Prabhupada also says this, just because the wife has served the husband so diligently, she goes back to Godhead. Prabhupada says this too. Yeah. So they are also benefited. It's not that they are not benefited. They are benefited and the world is also benefited. Just a little temporary inconvenience.
Yes, Mataji, right. Mataji, yeah, so Mataji, the Tirukolur Pen Pillai Ragasyam, you should please do a series on that, Mataji. And also meditating on Lord Ramanujacharya is so blessing, you know. So actually, I don't know many about Ramanujacharya. Even I don't know the answer for the question I asked. So how do I read about this, Mataji? Is there any books that you can refer about it?
About Ramanujacharya?
Yes, Mataji, to know about his life.
I can give, I can give you some documents if that will help you. Yeah.
Yes, sure, Mataji. We don't know much
Please
details,
share those
Mataji.
documents on the group, Mataji. I would like that too.
You can also read, I think our Gaudiya publications also have a small book called Ramanuja, right? Some of them who have the book, they can also share that. Life of Ramanujacharya,
Is it available on Amazon, Mataji?
You yeah, or you can listen to the recordings. But yeah,
Yeah.
it should be available, Mataji. I can see a link to that book. ISKCON published book. There is one about Ramanujacharya. So
Okay. Or you can put, Mataji, one more thing. You put the playlist of your lectures again? Then I can, kind of hear them. So nice. And I too would like to, hear a series from you on the women.
Acharyas. I mean, the women
Yeah,
disciples.
women disciples. I also would be extremely interested, Mataji, if you
Yeah.
can make it happen.
Definitely.
Thank you so much.
Next time we'll do only women disciples. Okay.
Maybe on his appearance day.
Yeah, on was up there, April now. Around now, it will come. Yeah. Sure.
Okay. Shivani Mata, take over.
Sure. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Once again, I would like to thank Her Grace Preethi Vilasini Mataji for a valuable time and association this morning. Thank you so much, Mataji, for a very beautiful class and for sharing such beautiful pastimes. Very, very grateful to you. And the devotees are thanking you in the chat. Preethi, Vanita Gandharika Mataji, Sumi Mataji, Amrita Radhika Mataji, Lalitangi Mataji. If there are no more questions or realizations, I would like to pay my obeisances to Her Grace Preethi Vilasini Mataji and all assembled devotees. Do I have your permission to close the call, Mataji? वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुएव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः समस्त वैष्णववृंद की जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय हर ग्रेस प्रीति विलासिनी माता जी की जय
All glories to all the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Mataji, do we have to leave?
Wonderful. We don't want to leave you, Mataji.
Do I want to press the leave meeting button? I don't know.
No, you don't have to press. Don't worry. I'll end the call.
Poor thing. We're only listening. She's the one who needs to talk. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Preethi.
Hare Krishna.
Separation is needed.
But yeah, I also want to thank Sukasagri Mataji for singing so beautifully.
Yeah, she's
Thank you, Sukasagri. Really, without this singing, no takeoff would have happened. So thank you.
Preethi, that's too much of an overstatement. Very, very beautiful class. And like others said, I, like Kirtida Mata said, with my Kali Yuga memory, I have to, it's like listening new, every time for me. So thank you so much for the beautiful class. I will go back and listen to your series again.
Thank you, Sukasagri
And
Mataji.
wonderful discussion with other Matajis also who are so knowledgeable. So thank you so much for that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you so much, dear devotees. So we'll end our call. See you all on Monday. Hare Krishna.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo